When whippoorwill call, and evening is nigh, I hurry to my blue heaven.
Welcome back to my blue heaven. I'm in the old press box here in the Jack Elliott stand at Princes Park for the Blues final training session of 2019, the final pre-season training session before the lads go on a Christmas and New Year break. They'll be back here in early January. The lads are just finishing off now what has been a really intense, spirited training session in pretty warm conditions. Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning, sandwiched in between a really hot day here in Melbourne. Yesterday it was 40 degrees and it's going to be 40 again tomorrow on the Friday. So the boys are lucky, but it is quite warm, quite humid. And as I said, it's been well over 2 hours now that they've been training, and I'll run through some of the drills that they've been doing. It's been absolutely fantastic to be down here. Just a few things in regards to some of the players who did not train this morning. A couple of these didn't train last week when I was here last Friday for the session. Harrison McCready and Matthew Kennedy ran strongly away from the main group. Both boys look in fantastic physical condition, particularly Matthew Kennedy, who didn't train last week but looks to be moving very well, so I'm not quite sure what the issue is there. I know he's had a really good pre-season. McCready is another one who's put on a lot of size, Harrison McCready, so we'd love to see him back out doing the skill work as well. Matthew Owies, who's suffering from a hamstring injury, ran away from the main group. And Mitch McGovern, who didn't train last week because of a shin concern. I'm not sure the exact problem with McGovern, but he didn't train again today. Ran a couple of laps and went inside. Didn't see Harry McKay, obviously, with that groin injury. No Callum Marchbank with a neck injury. Those lads were indoors. Brody Kemp, our first round draft pick, didn't come out either, recovering from an ACL injury. No Will Setterfield at all. I'm not quite sure if he's been rested, but didn't see him out on the track. And I did see Charlie Curnow for the first time in about a month. He watched from the sidelines with his knee heavily braced. So good to see Charlie out there watching the boys go around. But the rest trained and trained strongly. It was good to see, you know, the likes of Simo and Mark Murphy and Matthew Cruiser, all our veterans, Ed Curnow out on the track and training really well. And looking super fit as well. So as I mentioned, it was a really tough session. A lot of repeat efforts, a lot of splitting up into groups as well. And the coaches, the line coaches, really working the boys hard. Really hands-on by David Teague as well in a number of the drills, and really encouraging. You can hear his voice from the sidelines. And it looks to be a really good vibe amongst the group as well in regards to the way they feel about themselves. Last year, 12 months ago, this corresponding time last year, there was a real, it was a real uneasiness to the way things were transpiring just before Christmas with Robert Walls, that legendary figure here at the Carlton Football Club, just looming large on the boundary line, just keeping an eye over Brendan Bolton, who was obviously on notice at that time, and there was a lot of things were on edge. And at this time last year, we didn't actually sort of think what was actually going on, but yeah, and poor old Bolts didn't last the year. Great to see Sam Doherty. I know there was a report probably about 2 or 3 weeks back that Doherty is pretty much doing everything with the main group except the contact, but we can say in a little bit of match sim where he just controlled that back half beautifully. He was involved in a couple of tackles, so I'm not quite sure if that's been thrown out the window and Sam Doherty's right back into everything, but it was good to see Sam Doherty make it through training. He looks super fit. Tom Williamson once again trained strongly, joined in the match sim, did all the work. He's running strongly. That's a really good sign. These are blokes who've been on the sidelines for a number of years now, so it's great to see him. And also good to see David Cunningham, who this time last year was running laps. He trained strongly as well. So there's a couple of boys there who've been under injury clouds. We haven't seen a lot of them over the pre-season in past years, doing particularly well. Just in regards, I think I mentioned Brody Kemp before, our first round draft pick, and the other the other four boys, Sam Philp, Sam Ramsey and a couple of rookies, Josh Honey and Fraser Phillips. Don't expect these boys to be playing much senior football next year other than at the Northern Blues. They've got a lot of development to do, and I reckon it's the first time that I can remember probably in the last decade that we don't need to rush in our elite young talent. If we go back through when Sauce took over as the list manager, Jacob Wiedering picked one in his first draft, played the 20 games in his first season. Petreski Seaton played 20. He was our first round draft pick in 2016. Paddy Dow in 2017, 20 games. And then obviously Sam Welsh last year with 22 games. So that's, what is that? That's 82 games between our, in their first year's combination. I don't reckon we'll see Brody Kemp potentially at all next year at senior level. We just need to get him right. And, just looking at the development and the body size of the likes of Sam Philp, Ramsey, Honey and Phillips, they've got a long way to go. So I think we can be patient, and we need to be patient and don't sort of knock what the club want to do with these kids moving forward. I think a good year in the VFL is what we need, and I think it's the first time that we've been able to do that and watch them grow in a lower systems. The likes of Richmond and Collingwood, what they've been able to do over the last 3 or 4 years. This means that we're going to see, I reckon, an explosion and a real growth in a number of boys who I reckon have probably had or they have had really good pre-seasons. Paddy Dow looks in awesome nick. He looks like he's grown a couple of centimetres, moving really well, looks fit and rangy and strong. Petreski Seaton's just been outstanding. His durability over the 3 years he's been at the club, and he's just had a fantastic pre-season. In the match sim, they played him across half back. His ability to read the ball off the pack and then use it really well. I know there wasn't a lot of physical contact in the match sim, but it looks like the club might experiment with that again moving forward. He looked really good. Will Setterfield's another one. He played the 18 games last year. He wasn't here today, so fingers crossed there's nothing wrong with him. But apparently he's had a fantastic pre-season as well. Saw him train really strongly last week. Lockie O'Brien, he's gone from being a boy to a man over the last 4 or 5 months. Looks really strong and really confident. And obviously the organic growth once again of the likes of Fisher, who's had a terrific pre-season, looks to put on a lot of body size, and Sam Walsh, who was outstanding last year. So just a word up here, don't expect anyone, don't be going halfway through next year that was a bit of a bust from this year's draft, because we're going to see these kids gradually come through and hold us in really good stead moving forward. A couple of really good matchups in the match sim. Pitnet, the boy we got from Hawthorn, against Tom De Conning in the ruck. Cruiser played forward, allowing these two youngsters to go head to head in the ruck. A really good battle. Pitnet likes to throw his weight around. He had a couple of confrontations with Jack Silvani, who ran with Patrick Cripps in the midfield. Cripps has spent a lot of time going forward and looked really dangerous down there, so hopefully we can see that a little bit more next year. I like the form of Matthew Cottrell. He's had an outstanding pre-season. He's the best runner at the football club. I saw Nick Newman give Sam Walsh a bit of a spray because he was playing on Cottrell in the match sim, and he let him get off the chain, and Cottrell kicked a goal. And I don't know whether I like, someone of I don't mind leaders coming forward and giving a youngster a bit of a spray, but geez, you want to be playing well yourself, Nick Newman, and doing all the right things if you're going to give someone like Sam Welsh a spray. But anyway, that was good. One of the highlights was one of the running groups of Cottrell. They had Curnow, Sam Walsh, Lockie O'Brien, and the oldest player at the club in Simo, going head to head in all the running drills. Unbelievable, swapping leads, the determination, the competitive amongst these boys. And then what the coach just did in the last couple of run-throughs with this group is they threw young Sam Ramsey in there to see how we go. He actually acquitted himself quite well. Great to see Jack Nunes, a former Saint, had a really good pre-season, looks strong, got a great work ethic. He's going to have to play well in the JLT in the pre-season games to probably get a spot in our best 22 moving forward. It's good to see him out there. Thought Jack Martin was outstanding in the match sim. His tackling was sensational moving through the midfield. Not playing forward, looked fantastic. That's good to see. And a couple of the one-on-ones in a couple of the drills. Nunes versus Gibbons is an interesting one. Both boys will be probably fighting for a spot in that round one game against the Tigers. Jack Silvani versus Paddy Dow went head-to-head. Young Liam Stocker got crunched by Levi Casbolt a couple of times, and then he had to go head-to-head with Patrick Cripps right in front of the supporters, and poor old Liam Stocker. It was a bit of a baptism of fire against Patrick Cripps, but it was good to see him keep his head up. He looks to be moving quite well. But I reckon the most outstanding performer from today's session, and I'm going to pencil him in for a round one berth, just because we're missing a number of players up forward. No Harry McKay, obviously no Charlie Curnow for round one, and now question marks. I mean, Mitch McGovern will be okay, but Levi Casbolt, he was absolutely outstanding last week and again today. His physicality, it's taken big meat, as I call him, or they call him down at the club, Levi Casbolt. It's taken a decade for him to know his physical capabilities, but he's now starting to really stamp himself. And I know you can do it at training against smaller blokes and knock them out of the way. But he's going to do it in the game. You can just see it. He's got a real steeliness about the way he's going about it. He's dropped a little bit of weight. We saw him drop some weight last year. They played him up forward. He's going to get a real opportunity to stamp himself in the best 22 at the start of next season. He looks to be in ripping nick. That's a bit of a wrap. Great to see the support stuff. Henry Playfair, the former Swan assistant, heavily involved in the training drills. David Teague, I mentioned his voice, and Dale Amos, he is now in charge of the whole ground defensive mechanisms, is really vocal out there. And what I've noticed is a lot of the education is being done on the field. The rumours were that a lot of the education was done in team meetings under Brendan Bolton. Too many team meetings. Players are confused. As we can still see, they're still training out here now. This training session's been going for well over 2 hours, and all the education, or most of the education, is being done out here on the ground, which is fantastic. I think that's a really good way to go, particularly for a young group. Hands-on as always. That's about a wrap for My Blue Heaven. Great to be back. If you like these videos, give us a like, give us a comment down below. The boys look good, we're feeling good, we're excited for next year. Bring it on. Have a nice Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you early in 2020.